You're listening to Impact Insights, a podcast from Impact, the annual magazine produced by the Telescope, Palomar College's student-run newspaper. On today's episode, we talk about navigating friendship in college. I'm here with Dana Moore. Dana, how long have you been a Palomar student for?
I've been a Palomar student since fall 2025.
And what are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in biology.
Okay, what do you want to do with biology?
I want to use it to get into medical school and become a doctor. And I'm using this major to get all my prerequisites.
Why do you want to be a doctor?
I specifically want to be a dermatologist because I struggle with skin, especially on my face, and I just want to help others not go through the same struggle as me.
Knowing that you're going to be a doctor, there's a long road of school ahead. Is that exciting? Is that scary?
I'm a little nervous for it, but I've also kind of come to terms with it because it's necessary, and honestly, I don't mind school. I like it. So I think I think of it as a step. Every year is a step to my goal.
You play soccer.
Yes.
And you play for Palomar. How long have you been playing for?
I've been playing since I was 3 years old. So I've been playing for a very long time.
Wow. What got you into it at that age?
My parents. But I stuck with it because I actually liked it. But yeah, no, I really enjoy playing. I'm glad I can continue to play.
What's been the biggest difference playing at the high school level and then now playing in college?
Especially where I went to high school, it was a very small town, and so it wasn't as competitive compared to what I was used to with club. So playing collegiately, I guess it kind of combines playing with people that are good, and then but also you go to school with, so you get, I guess, better connections because I was more friends with people at my high school than people I was with at club.
That bridges us perfectly into what we're talking about. We're here to talk about friendship. I think sports can often be kind of isolating. Do you think growing up that you gravitated more towards your soccer friends, or how did you kind of meet people outside of that?
I was always told growing up by my mom, who is also an athlete like me, that the people you meet in sports are just your sports friends, because especially through my soccer journey, I have moved a lot, and I've never really stuck with the same people. So I learned to still get along and still be friends, but not keep the same attachment as I would, because I know it's not forever. So yeah.
Do you think that there's pressure to kind of be friends with your teammates?
I think so, because you're kind of forced to, because you have to like your teammates if you want to work well with each other. It's hard to play with people you don't like. So I think it is forced, but mostly everybody's a good person, so it's not hard to like everybody, but I learned that I don't have to be best friends, I just have to get along with them to do well.
Do you think that having soccer made it easier for you to start to make friends once you got to Palomar?
Oh, definitely. Like I said, it was a lot easier to make friends because in high school you stick with them throughout all 4 years, and you see them every day. Now that it's combined with people that and actually a really good team, and I see these people, I have made one of my closest friends from this Palomar team. But yeah.
How do you, not in a soccer setting, how do you try to initiate friendships?
I try to talk to anybody, really, because I know I'm gonna have to be working with other people no matter what. So I might as well bite the bullet and get it out of the way, because I don't mind talking. I'm a big talker, so I think it's easy. 'Cause I know some people struggle with it, so I don't mind starting the conversation and getting it moving.
For people who do struggle with that, I think it's often they're worried about, what if I go up to them and they don't want to talk to me or whatever. for people like that, do you encourage them to like come up and talk and just start conversation?
Oh, for sure, because I mean, I'm always going to think positively unless you do something that affects me negatively. Like, I'm always going to think of you in a good way until you change that narrative. So I don't think you should be scared, because I'm always going to be inviting and wanting to like make new friends, because I would say I'm a very open and kind person.
What do you think the best conversation starter is?
Probably something that is funny. I think I bond the most through humor, and so I think saying something funny and making like having like both laughing, you can like talk about it, and I think humor is just the best way to go, in my opinion.
How do you balance, obviously, being in your major, assuming you take pretty hard classes, plus soccer, that's a lot, and then friendship? How do you kind of balance all of it?
I just make sure, like, for me, when I'm at school, I do school. I don't dilly-dally. I don't like mess around. I do school and at school. When I'm at practice, I focus on only that. I try to, like, wherever I'm at, just focus on what I'm doing to keep everything kind of separated, because I feel like once it all combines, like, it just can get really stressful. And I think with friends, like, they have to understand that I'm a very busy person, but I will make time when I can.
Do you ever feel like your friendships get neglected a little bit?
Maybe, but I think because most of my friends are on my soccer team, that it's not too bad. But my friend and my boyfriend, like, I call my boyfriend every night, and I think that's just the best way of communication even though I'm not seeing him physically all the time, like, I can still like talk to him. And then with my friend, we schedule maybe once a month to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
What's the most important trait that you look for in a friend?
Probably honesty. I'm a very like honest person, and I think if you can be honest with yourself, it's easier to be honest with others. So coming from a very small school, people are the worst. But I kind of I feel like I was always being like misled and thought to think something else, but so I was trying to look for honest people. Smart, I feel like I try to look for honest and educated people, because I feel like it's hard to talk to someone that isn't willing to learn or isn't willing to accept other ideas.
Totally. You kind of just touched on this, but what do you think a red flag in a friend is?
Like I said, probably someone that can't be honest and, like, I think not educated. I don't mind, like, choosing a different career path. Like, that's fine. But I feel like it's good to finish high school and do that so you can somewhat grasp a knowledge, because education and learning is, like, I think very important, because I think it just opens your mind to a lot of different perspectives and a lot of ideas, and everyone's coming from a different perspective and background, and I think to be friends, you have to be willing to accept that other people are different from you. And I think education just broadens that perspective.
Is college and the people everything that you thought it would be? Is it different? Are the people what you expected?
I think it's a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. Coming to a community college, I thought it was going to be miserable. I'm going to make no friends, and I was just going to like go through the motions and move on. But I honestly have found a lot of people that I really like to talk to and really enjoy hanging out with. And I love all the professors mostly, because they actually care about wanting to learn and wanting to make you understand, and like they want you to learn and not just run through the motions.
Totally. And finally, how much do you value friendship?
I think friendship's very important, because I feel like I'm a very independent person, but I also think it's important to depend on others when you need it. You can't take everything yourself. So I think having an outlet to let somebody like just say whatever you want without any repercussions and just like get it all out, I think having friendship makes it a lot easier.
Totally. Thank you. Today I'm here with Dr. Little to discuss psychology behind friendship. But first, can you tell our listeners a little about yourself?
Sure. My name is Betsi Little, and I have my PhD in experimental psychology. My area of emphasis is technically social psychology. So I'm always interested in how people are impacted by being around other people. Even if we think somebody is viewing us, our behavior changes. And so that's really where my area is in. And then for my graduate work, I actually looked at this topic of optimism and whether or not that helps us cope with being discriminated against, which introduced me to this field called positive psychology. And so that's really kind of like the opposite of abnormal psychology. It's how do high functioning people thrive? What are they all doing in common? And then if I do it, does that help me too? And so, taking kind of my research path plus my interest and my teaching interest, I kind of land here in this world of the importance of people.
And what made you want to get into psychology?
Well, I originally was interested. I have a degree in criminal justice and in psychology, and I kind of wanted to do the whole profiler thing until I realized that's not a real thing. It was just, awesome for the 90s and early 2000s. So I did some work in forensic, and I was really interested in how jurors perceive other people.
Friendships can be tricky and comes building friendships comes super easy for some people and is super hard for others.
Yeah.
I feel like we often hear about the psychology behind romantic relationships and what draws certain people to each other, but I was just curious about what's the psychology behind friendship?
Yeah, it's actually the same thing. So people won't admit that the first thing that they look for in a romantic partner is somebody who's attractive, right? But it's true. I mean, like, let's be honest. We do the same thing with friends. Now, it might not necessarily be physical attractiveness, but that is one. Have you ever noticed, like, groups of people, they're all like the same level of pretty, and you're like, is this the pretty club?
Yeah.
But we kind of naturally, it's called the matching phenomenon, where we tend to match people who look in the same attractiveness level because there's this assumption that there's similar experiences. But then attraction gets, much like in romance, much wider. So maybe it's a personality characteristic you see demonstrated in a class and you're like, oh, I need to be friends with that person. One of my good friends here, Professor Colbert, Amber, she and I met during new faculty orientation, and I heard her laughing.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm going to be friends with her because if she's like belly laughing that hard in an orientation, she's got something working. And so attractiveness is part of that, is who am I interested in? The other side is, and I think that we focus way too much on this, is how attractive am I to other people? And you can't control that, right? And when we do control it, we're not our authentic self. And I think everybody agrees people who are fake aren't attractive, right? So it's this cycle of things. And so, be more curious and be attracted to everybody for friendship reasons. And then don't worry so much about how attractive you are to other people as friend bait, I guess.
Yeah. And how important is friendship?
I'm going to say it's probably one of the most important things in our life. And we now have the research to back that up. So a couple of years ago, the longest longitudinal study completed, and it was over 85 years long. So they studied people through their entire life, and they wanted to see what was common from people who lived long and who thrived. And they all had different diets, they all had different habits, but the thing they all had in common was strong social networks. These are the people that when they come home, they're excited to see their family. They have people that they go out to, and back in our grandparents' days, there was social clubs and those kind of things. When I was in college, it was all about extracurriculars. So like, I was never good at any sports, but you join an intramural team, and all of these different things make us interact with other people. And the more we interact, even if it's not just friendship, just simply interacting with other people, the longer we'll live. Loneliness has been now labeled as a national epidemic, health epidemic, by the Attorney General underneath Biden.
Wow.
And it's being equated to smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day. I mean, like, being lonely kills.
Wow.
It does. It
Yeah.
just straight up kills. And the part that's so ironic for me as a professor seeing students is that, and I'm guilty of this too, is that when you get stressed out, the first thing you cut out is calling your friends.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're like, I don't have time for that. Yeah. But research shows, actually, if you spend a little time just chatting with a friend, your productivity bumps right after.
Wow.
So taking that time out and being intentional to reach out to people not only is going to make you live longer and be happier, but you'll be more productive. Right? But we just tell ourselves this story that my friends will be there, my parents will be there when finals week is over. But it's always finals week.
Yeah.
Right? And so I would say more than exercise, more than diet, the only thing that tops friendship is probably socioeconomic status, and not like being in those upper regions, but just not being in poverty.
Right.
Right? That, I think, is the best predictor of life. Next up, friendship, social network,
Wow.
and connecting.
We've all heard the saying that you are who you hang out with.
Yes.
Are our brains really so adaptable that we become who we surround ourselves with?
Yes. We have a natural process as people that when people are experiencing emotions, there's neurons in our brains called mirror neurons, and it mimics back out the facial expression that you're seeing, right? So that you can then interpret what emotions are happening. And you'll notice that. And if you want, here's a fun fact. If you want to know if somebody's really paying attention to you, or like if they're interested in you, cross your legs or cross your arms or change your body. And then if they change too, they're paying attention.
Wow.
I know.
That's true.
So it's innate. I mean, it's so innate. You can see that oxytocin, which is one of the neurotransmitters that creates bonding and love, that when you are looking at pictures of people that you feel that way, your oxytocin goes up. But then when you're around them, you increase their oxytocin too.
Wow.
So like at a very minute, things are happening in the brain level, we are affecting each other.
Wow.
Yeah. And here's another fun fact. I'm all about the fun facts.
Love it.
Sorry about it. Dogs have it too.
Wow.
Dogs and humans, right? Like when dogs make puppy eyes, that's the neurotransmitters in their brain reacting to us.
Wow.
And then we react to them, and then they react to us, and it becomes this feeding cycle, which is why people love dogs.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
People talk a lot about codependency in romantic relationships. Can friends become codependent on each other?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially in the day and age now where social media is so present, you can see like codependent relationships happen. They're less destructive in friendships than they are in romantic relationships, but...
What would you say about, I feel like oftentimes, especially growing up, you see a friend group, maybe a couple friends are hanging out and you don't get included. Why does it hurt so bad to not be included?
Yeah, because it hurts in our brain. Literally, there's research out there that talks about when we feel excluded, it's the same in our brain as physical pain, right? But the cool thing is that because we have brains, we can explain it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And the first thing is to say, yeah, I totally feel hurt, right? And then the second thing is, what have I been doing and contributing into this group friendship that I'm missing? And so I didn't get that invite.
Yeah.
It's really hard not to take it personally, but I do want to encourage people not to take it personally.
Yeah.
But if anything, it should be kind of a wake-up call of, I haven't tended to this group
Right.
enough.
Yeah.
Right? And so use it more. I like to think of discomfort as not something I want to explain or understand, but it's a motivation. Like my body and my brain are smarter than my consciousness is, and so if something feels uncomfortable, that's my way of saying, okay, well, what should I be learning from this?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the real purpose of it. We've just messed it up with our fancy logic.
Friendship seems to get harder to build as you get older. Why is that?
Because you spend less time caged with the same animals. Right?
Yeah.
So, and I can look up the study or the numbers specifically out of here, but I think there's something like it takes about 60 hours of contact before you feel like comfortable and you would consider friendship.
Yeah.
If you think about when you were in elementary school, middle school, and even high school, 60 hours, that's like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell me, how many semesters would you have to go to a class with the same person to hit that 60 hours?
A lot. Yeah.
That's it. That's the difference, is that we're not immersed with as many people. And then when you add on top of it with our post-COVID technology, I don't even have to go to the store to get food.
Right.
Well, I'm missing a human interaction. It may not be the interaction I want, but it's an important one.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even have to like leave my house to connect with people. But when you're doing it through a distance, through a voice or the video, you're not getting that same neurotransmitter hit.
Yeah.
Right? So,
This idea that it's good to have one good friends or two good friends versus a group of maybe some wishy-washy
Yeah,
friends, is
yeah.
that
depends on the person.
okay?
Everybody should have 2 to 3 good friends. Whether you're the kind of person that wants to have less intimate friends, like when I was in college, I had friends by like location or activity.
Right.
So like your drinking buddies, right? But like I'm not gonna take my drinking buddies home for Christmas and
Right.
like have fun, right?
Yeah.
So for some people, they need to have a higher number of like less dense relationships.
Yeah.
But it really individually it doesn't matter. If you have one best friend and you're happy and that relationship is great, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to that not being caged together
Yeah.
thing, I feel like high school, you're in a bubble. You see each other every day for years, and then you branch into college, and everyone's kind of doing their own thing.
Yes.
How would you recommend college students meeting each other, building those friendships when you only see them for an hour and a half a
Yeah.
couple times a week?
So I'm going to tell you 2 answers, and they're going to be painful and obvious.
Okay.
1, be around more. People like things that they're familiar with, right? So if you're constantly seeing each other on campus, have you ever had that moment where you're like, oh, hey, you don't even know the person's name, right? That's this familiarity. So being around. That's how I got my husband. I'm going to be real honest. Like, I was just around in grad school the whole time. He's like, oh, I see that. And we like what we're familiar with. So be around, be out there, try new things, do weird stuff. You'll have more contact, which is just more options for friends. The second one is the most painful, but I have done it multiple times and it is effective. I ask people if they want to be friends. Like,
Yeah.
and it's always in this kind of jokey kind of thing. The first time I did this was my first full-time job out of grad school. And I was still going to grad school, but I got a 1-year teaching job. Like, I put on my big girl pants. I was terrified. I'm at this college and I'm in this orientation meeting and I look over and there's another younger person that's female. And I walked over to her and I said, I don't know anybody here. Will you be my friend?
Yeah.
And she's like, yes. And we're still friends.
Wow.
And that was 20 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah, we still send each other terrible Christmas gifts every year. And so it was really, and she's like, I wouldn't have done that because she's an introvert.
Yeah.
But people knowing that they're liked makes them like you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you just go up to somebody, I like you, you look fun, can we hang out? If they're like, no, well then you don't want to be friends with them anyway.
Yes, definitely.
Answer solved.
Yeah.
But if they're like, yeah, that's the way that I have made friends. Since leaving school, where we were all caged together,
Yeah.
I've worked very intentionally to have my friend network, and
Right.
I make sure that I maintain and care for my friend network.
Yeah.
I have a little list in my planner there's a box that's like friends to see, and so I make sure I put down people, even if I end up texting them and not getting together. Like, that's just really important. And those friendships came from meeting one of my friends that I'm going thrift shopping with tomorrow for a couple hours. She and I met in the parking lot waiting for our kids to get out of school.
Yeah.
And one day I walked over, I'm like, "You look fun, let's chat."
Yeah.
And now we're friends.
Speaking on your experience making friends, what was that like when you were in college? You're new, you're young, you're scared, new place, new.
Oh, if I could go back to 1996 when I was just a freshman in college,
Yeah.
I would say don't try so hard. Don't try so hard to be liked.
Right.
Try hard to find out who you are and who you like. And everybody else, those people will come to you. Right? Like, if you're curious about a weird person that you never would have talked to before, be curious about them. And, like, bam, whole new outlet opened. Be curious and get out of your own head. It's not about you.
And my final question, what do you think is the most important trait for a friend to have?
Authentic curiosity. So we all know the time when you're like asking questions just because you have to.
Right.
But like, if you take a moment and really think about like what you really like to know and then ask that question, that is so attractive to everyone. Like, think about the people you want to hang out with or that you see on campus, and you're like, oh, it's because they're authentic,
Right.
and they're curious about other people.
Totally. Who am I here with?
Emma Thomas.
And how old are you?
I'm almost 19.
Okay. What are you studying?
Child and adolescent development, and then I have a minor in psychology.
And what made you want to study that?
I've always liked working with kids. I've been a coach and been babysitting for several years, and I just think it's very interesting how kids pick up things and the way that they view different things and their perspective.
Totally. You go to Cal State San Marcos and you take class at Palomar, so you've gotten to see different college campuses. How have you navigated making friends in college?
I feel like the best way to do it is just try to be open just to meeting anyone and everyone and be friendly, because a lot of people, I feel like, especially at San Marcos, they are very like closed off, but then everyone says like, "Oh, I don't have friends and I want to make friends. It's so hard." But I think you just have to put yourself out there and make the first move.
What do you think I feel like that initial initiation of, hey, do you want to be my friend, or just like trying to navigate that is always scary. What do you think the hardest part about starting a friendship is?
I feel like probably the time commitment, because when you are in high school, you're with someone like a couple times a week, but in college, and like sitting next to them in class and doing things with them, but in college you're seeing them like maybe once or twice a week. You can't really talk during class because it's a lecture a lot of the time, so I feel like that's definitely the hardest part.
Did you expect that when you got to college? Because high school, right, it's kind of like a bubble. You kind of have to be friends with the people that you're sitting next to every day. Did you expect that jump when you got to college to be so different?
Not really. No. I thought it would be easier, but I really think it makes an impact if you get involved on campus, because, you know, everyone says, "Oh, get involved. I wish I got involved sooner." And I didn't take that advice in high school. So I try to really take that advice in college and be more open to talking to people and getting involved and trying to put myself in different like leadership roles, because then people will kind of follow your lead.
You mentioned wanting to work with kids. I feel like little kids can just run around, make friends, make 10 friends in 5 minutes. Why do you think it's so much harder as we get older to kind of make those friendships?
Probably because people are insecure and you don't really have that when you're younger. You haven't developed like that level of awareness yet. And I I feel like that's probably the biggest thing.
You touched
Yeah.
on the having classes and not seeing people all the time. How do you balance school, which is a lot, and then also friendships?
I feel like that's definitely difficult. I don't know. I'm figuring out how to navigate it now, especially because I'm a commuter, so I'm not like on campus available to go hang out whenever people want. I try to really just manage my time well, have days where I am on campus and can stay later and hang out with someone or plan to study or book a study room, stuff like that, and just be around people. And then when I go home, have that time being okay, just relaxing, being by myself, and then studying when I need to.
Do you think it's helpful to have friends in classes and different people to lean on, or do you like to just kind of do everything on your own?
I'm pretty independent, but I definitely think it makes life a lot easier when you have someone to like ask questions to. And especially with harder classes, it's good if you can like, okay, you walk in the room the first day, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go sit next to that person. They look like they would be nice and friendly and be able to talk to them and figure things out together.
What are the most important qualities that you look for in a friend?
Loyalty is probably my biggest one. Empathy and just being a nice person overall. I want someone who's gonna like have my back and I'll have theirs.
What's like an underrated quality you think a friend should have? That's not as serious as like loyalty or a good person, maybe like they're funny or like the same show as you, or anything like that.
Yeah, I was just thinking someone's funny because I feel like a lot of people think like funny is a good quality in a friend. For me, I wouldn't put that as the highest quality because I think a lot more things are important. But when you are hanging out with someone, it is important. Like, you just don't realize how important it is to get the same jokes and stuff like that. So I feel like someone who gets you and is funny.
Do you ever find yourself, or maybe not even yourself, but other people, when they're around different people, they kind of act differently, or maybe you're with one person and you're like, oh, why am I laughing way more with this person, but then with this person, I'm like not. Do you like find that at all?
Yes, well, for myself, not really. I've had a very good like system of weeding people out. I feel like I was definitely taught that growing up. So I see that a lot of times in other people, but not really myself.
When it comes to that time, what is like the indicator that maybe you need to cut this friendship off?
Just if they're not like putting effort into the friendship, I feel like. And I mean, obviously, if they're doing something that you think is wrong or they're being mean, that's an obvious indicator. But for most friendships, that just kind of like fizzle out. I feel like that's just a sign if they're not putting into it what you are.
For sure. Okay, my last question is, how important is friendship to you?
I think it's very important. I mean, like, I don't know. I had a psychology teacher, and he would say that in order to thrive, you need other people, but you can't survive without them. So I think the point of life is to make friendships and make connections with people. So
Totally.
very important.
That's it for this episode of Impact Insights. If you want to hear more conversations like this, visit thetelescope.com for more coverage, podcasts, and the latest issue of Impact. Thanks for listening.